So we've got some exciting news, guys. We're going to have a George Knapp movie. Who's going to play George Knapp in a movie? That's the question. Let me know in the comments. So here we have, let's just have a look here. Let's bring it up. Let's go. Filmmaker Colin Trevorrow, hope I've said that right, is among those, blah, 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 missed a bit of it. Area 51 movie to follow Las Vegas newsman, alien theories. George Knapp's reporting career has been out of this world, and now so is his film career. A respected and celebrated Las Vegas newsman dating back to the 1980s is to be portrayed in a feature film involving Area 51, an institution at KLAS Channel 8. Knapp was the first journalist to delve into the highly classified U.S. Air Force facility inside the Nevada test site, now the Nevada National Security Site. His chronicling of purported alien activity at the site has sparked international interest. Filmmaker Colin Trevorrow is among those taking notice. Trevorrow, who relaunched the blockbuster Jurassic World franchise, is signed to direct and produce an Area 51 conspiracy thriller. Trevorrow is founder of Metronome Film Co., partnering in the film with Paramount Pictures and Maximum Effort, headed up by Ryan Reynolds, George Dewey, Ashley Fox, and Johnny Perisser. The trade publication Dateline, citing sources, was the first to report the project. The untitled conspiracy thriller is set to be set in the 1980s when Knapp brought to prominence the claims of UFO conspiracy theorist Bob Lazar. The project reportedly follows the Las Vegas news journalist as he develops his own theories about the alien activity centered in our region. Now, so what's interesting is I don't think, it'll start with that. I think it'll start with this, which was the 1987 John Lear interview, which was on the record. I'm going to play a short clip of this here for you. For anybody that's not watched it, it will be in the description, so you can go and watch it. I highly recommend it. This is a part of it, part one, but I will share the full link for the full entire thing. I think it's about 30 minutes long.
The idea of benevolent aliens from outer space are going to help us out.
Unfortunately, they're not so benevolent. So they made probably one of the most disastrous mistakes when ET was put out. At that time was before we discovered what I call the double cross or the grand deception, and they were trying to get us used to the benevolent little creatures, but that isn't the case.
Why don't you take a couple of minutes? Now, you've done as much research on UFOs as just about anyone, I'd imagine, and if you haven't done it, you know people who have. Where did it all start, and how have we put this picture together of where they came from and why they're here?
Well, the whole thing started in July 2nd, 1947. That was the first crash.
First crash of an alien spaceship.
Of an alien spaceship. July 6th is when they recovered it and sent it to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. July 7th is when they held the press conference and told the people it was a weather balloon, which the press bought hook, line, and sinker. September of that year, President Truman established MJ-12, and the purpose of that was to study the saucers and cover up the existence of UFOs.
And you say we recovered alien bodies from that incident, right?
4 from that particular crash, yes.
And what'd they do with them?
They autopsied them. Dr. Detlef Bronk was the chief surgeon, so to speak. He was the one that named them EBEs. It stands for extraterrestrial biological entities. And we captured 3 live EBEs. They were numbered in their order of capture: EBE-1, EBE-2, and EBE-3.
Where did we capture? Where did this happen?
In different crashes. EBE-1 lived with an Air Force colonel between 1949 and 1952. The EBEs are kept in an electromagnetic facility called a YY-2. It was designed by a Dr. Eric Wang, who worked directly for Dr. Kissinger, who has been in this cover-up since the very beginning. The reason they had to create an electromagnetic facility is the fact that the EBEs are so advanced, they're at least 500 million years advanced from us, and probably more. They can move by thought.
Move by thought.
And they can also disappear. But they can't move by thought through electromagnetic facilities. So they built this facility. There was 2, one in Los Alamos, and one either at Edwards or up at the test site.
At Groom Lake, Nevada.
At Groom Lake. Now, there's still one EBE still living.
You can see George Knapp there. He's thinking, what is this guy talking about?
To the public
really
It's an
new.
interview with
This
him.
is like
As hard as that may
George
sound,
Knapp's
as hard as
introduction to
it
the
may
UFO.
be to believe, there is a videotape of an interview with EVE3.
And what is this language that the interviewers are
I haven't
speaking?
seen the tape, so I don't know. But on this trip I told you I took gathering all this information, a guy in Albuquerque handed me 25 secret CIA memos. And if anything can be humorous in all of this, one of these memos, in the body of the text, it said, by the way, EVE3 wants to see the ocean. We better make the arrangements or he'll disappear again. So while he couldn't get out of this facility, he could make himself disappear and cause him a lot of trouble.
Why doesn't every home in the UK have brand new solar panels? The number one reason is...
Now, can they exist among us? Is that what you're saying, or do they have to have this special environment?
They have
to be able
special
to live?
environment, special air. It's my understanding they can only last about 20 minutes in this air.
You were saying also these gray ones are the ones that we see most of the time, and you said that most of that there are a lot of different motives for them being here. The gray ones, what kind of a deal we got going with them? Is that the bunch that you suggest we've made a deal with for military technology?
Well, I think we made a deal with them, and their ultimate, what they want to do is regenerate their own race. Now, apparently, they've either had some kind of nuclear accident, or they're on the backside of a evolutionary genetic curve, and they're going downhill instead of uphill. In other words, in the autopsies, of which atrophied, they can't eat through their mouth anymore. You know how they eat? Well, these cattle mutilations, they take the hormones and the enzymes from those cattle and they spread it on their skin, and their skin absorbs the nutrients and then excretes the waste back through their skin. And if you read Whitley Strieber's book or listen to him talk, he talks about when he's seen them doing this to their skin, and they're scraping the waste off.
Now, these cattle mutilations, there's been a film made about that, and perhaps in a couple of minutes we can take a look at some excerpts of that.
Yeah, Strange Harvest was a good one, but another thing that happened here on March 4th, there was a documentary released on the best UFO photos that have been taken so far, including 1 minute and 38 seconds of videotape. Now, what happened is in November, this guy took these photos, took it into the TV station. They thought it was great, but nobody would believe it. So they spent 3 months checking the validity of the, authenticating the videotape and checking out the credibility of the witness. And when they had it all down, they put out this documentary, 30 minutes. I mean, it's ironclad. They're here. But do you think it got on the network? No, it was just showed locally in Pensacola.
We have some of that, and perhaps when we come back, we can take a look at it. So stay with us for more of On the Record.
So that's interesting. Speaks about it does speak in later on in this episode about an alien interview tape that they're aware of, and it's going to be released soon. This is in 1987, remember, and we all know about this tape here. So I'm just going to show you this one. Let me show you this tape. Could he be referring to this later on in the interview?
Comfort of the aliens. The figure who is just barely visible in the left foreground is the telepath, and behind the camera is a raked seating area for observers. Although in this case, I believe the only other person present was a military aide. The alien is seated behind a glass partition in a biocontainment area, which is maintained at biosafety level 2, the lowest designation. That's primarily for the protection of the aliens, not us. The theory is that if they were going to infect us with an alien bug, it would have happened 50 years ago. In fact, all the indications are the aliens eliminated microbial and viral life from their own.
So that's all I'm going to play. That if you've not seen this interview, I'll drop the link in the description. If you've not seen the George Knapp interview with John Lear, the full one, I'll drop that link in the description, and I will drop the link to the George Knapp article about the film that's been made of him. So let me know in the comments who could play George Knapp. Josh Brolin, maybe? Maybe grey his hair a little bit? Let me know. Take care. Good night. And God bless.